Welcome to Box Score Studio, where the stats speak, the stories hit harder, and every take comes straight off the playbook. Let's talk sports.
What is up, everybody? Box Score Studio fans, what is going on? Everybody ready for that winter weather coming in this weekend? You guys, y'all bunker down, don't buy up everything at HEB, just be sure to get the essentials, which is, what, bread, water, beer, the good stuff. That's what you want to get over at your local HEB. I, unfortunately, will be on the road, so I'll be going out of town in this winter weathery mix. So, see you guys next week. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to do any shows this weekend. That's why we're doing one today. Catch you up on the NFL talk this weekend. You got the conference title games going on. Who's going to go to the Super Bowl? We're going to make our picks today. Also, congratulations out to Indiana. Talking about NBA, not just the Spurs Chisme that we're going to be getting into, but also NBA trade talks. And there was something mentioned a little bit, about a week or so ago from us here at Box Score Studio, how the Spurs could be part of a three-team trade. I mean, could it be possible? Do Spurs fans like it? Obviously, Spurs fans don't like to play, armchair GMs. They don't like to see a lot of Spurs players being traded, yada, yada, yada. We get that, all that. But where the Spurs you may not want the Spurs to be a part of a three-team deal. It may benefit them because there's another team that's just ahead of them in OKC that has the picks and has the players that could potentially land an impact player. We'll get into all that here. Maybe a little confusing, but we'll make it unconfusing for you people out there. It's Rudy Campos Jr. here at Box Score Studio. Be sure to go to Box Score Studio TV on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything from Box Score Studio, including the Derek Gervin story, the documentary that we released probably about a month ago. Also, we've got more content, local high school basketball content going to be coming, high school football. As mentioned, we're going to be doing some SAFC soccer coverage. So we got a lot of coverage coming up for you in 2026. Do not miss out. Shout out to first off the guys over at Grading the Market. That's Jacob, Sith, and Anthony. They do a fantastic job. Be sure to go to Box Score Studio TV on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss Grading the Market with, like I said, Jacob, Anthony, and Sith. As you can see, their custom Funko Pops that were made by there. Also, don't ever forget, you can catch Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs, special guest appearances from Jeff Garcia on Box Score Studio TV. So be sure to subscribe today so you are not left out on any of that. So what do we got going on today? First and foremost, we want to congratulate the Indiana Hoosiers, your 2026 national champions. They defeated the Miami Hurricanes in a very, very good national title game. Can Indiana repeat next year? Well, they do have a really good class coming in, primarily off of the transfer portal, something that we talked about with Curt Cignetti. He's doing a fantastic job bringing in players in the transfer portal, not necessarily going for the 4- and 5-star recruits all the time, getting the guys that matter, getting the guys that can play within his system to get it done. They did get done this past season, as you can tell, Indiana Hoosiers. But let's go before that, when Curt Cignetti took the job over at Indiana. He came in with a winning attitude. They only lost 2 games that season, did make the CFP. Now they are national champions. Can they repeat? That is the question. It's very tough. It's very difficult to repeat now in college football, all because of the transfer portal, because of NIL. Very, very difficult. The one team I do have circled as a team because of the transfers that they are getting in is your Fighting Texas Longhorns over in Austin. They have quietly put together a tremendous offseason when it comes to the transfer portal. Will that be enough to get the Longhorns back into the CFP title game? As of right now, if we're taking an early look at things, I would definitely say yes. I've got them probably in the Final Four for the CFP. Do I see them making the NCAA National Championship game? I kind of see it do right now. It all does fall on Arch Manning, but Texas fans out there, I've got to ask you this bold question here. Is this the season where if Sark doesn't get it done, do we see Texas move on from Sark? We've seen the struggles, especially this past season. We saw the struggles. Nothing happened with Sark. We're going to give them another year. They have probably one of the best classes coming in per transfer, per recruiting, everything. This might be that last hurrah for Sark when it comes to the Texas Longhorns. We talk a lot about how there's a guy in San Antonio who could potentially be the next head coach up in Texas. Great recruiting guy when it comes to the pipeline in Texas, up and down Oklahoma. I mean, he can do wonders. He's done wonders for UTSA, and you can't blame the unsuccessful seasons that a lot of fans are calling it for UTSA on Coach Traylor. I mean, you've got guys coming in, coming out. Guys are just transferring left and right. So if Sark can't get it done in Texas this year, is this the final season that we see him on the sidelines? Could this potentially be the season where if Sark goes, we see Traylor maybe move into that Texas spot? Lot to be said, lot to be told. We'll soon find out here. But yes, Indiana does have a great class coming in. They do have a great transfer class coming in. Kurt Signetti might be able to do it again. It's very difficult to repeat now as national champions in college football. But if there is one team that could get it done, it potentially could be the Indiana Hoosiers. But they will have a very difficult path. As again, I have the Texas Longhorns definitely as one of the top teams in the nation coming in next year. Rudy, looking back, is the transfer portal a bad thing for college sports? The transfer portal is not a bad thing for college sports. It's the way you're able to transfer. They need to make that transfer portal very, very limited. I would say a 10-day period of where you can transfer if need be. What they need to get into contract is if you're going to start doing NIL stuff, like we mentioned, you've got to do a hard contract for NIL. That's where I look at everything. It starts the NIL, the transfer portal. You've got to limit the amount of transfers. You can't transfer every single season. You got to cut down on the red shirts. You got to cut down on eligibility. You just got to peel back the curtain and look at everything. Appreciate the question there. But yes, they do. They need to look at the transfer portal. It's not a bad thing. I understand why kids transfer, but they've got to look at a whole lot of stuff there because it's too much. And just quick announcement when it comes to the CFP. They're about to make an announcement that they're going to keep it at 12 teams for the upcoming season. There's been talk about it going to 16 teams. I think eventually it does go to 16 teams. You want to get more teams in there. You don't want to leave teams that are out, but eventually if you go to 16 teams, you're still going to have other guys out there, another team saying, hey, we got left out. That's unfair. I've said it months ago, and I'll say it again. We knew the rules of the CFP coming in. We knew the requirements. We knew what they were looking at. You can't say, well, Notre Dame was left out because of this. I actually had Notre Dame ahead of teams like Bama, even Miami. But the rules are the rules. They had to get in conference title teams. They had to get in, certain requirements had to get in. So they will perfect it at one day. It's probably just not going to be anytime soon, but they are going to keep it at 12 teams. Quick shout out here to Chunky Flamingo. It's hashtag Rock the Mingo. It's Friday. You know what? That cold air is coming in. It's coming in today. And you want to get bundled up, man. Well, you don't want to be caught off guard and be surprised by everything with the weather changing and all. Go to chunkyflamingo.com. Use that promo code ChunkyCards20 to get 20% off. Plus, you're going to end up getting a couple of special exclusive trading cards from Chunky Flamingo. All you got to do is go to their website, chunkyflamingo.com. Use promo code ChunkyCards20. Get 20% off, plus get some exclusive cards from Chunky Flamingo. They got everything. They can take care of you when it's cold, and when it's 110 degrees outside in San Antonio, that humidity's rocking. They got those Chunky Flamingo tank tops. Don't believe me? Ask Chris Leha of MCS General Contracting. Ask our very own Jacob over at Grading the Market. They've recently got some Chunky Flamingo apparel. They can tell you how comfortable it is and how great it is. That is chunkyflamingo.com. Hashtag Rock the Mingo. Partners with us here at Box Score Studio and Grading the Market. What do we got next, man? We're going fast here. We're doing a quick show today. We're moving quick. NFL playoffs are coming up now. Patriots and Broncos. Obviously, Bo Nix is out for the remainder of the playoffs. Broken bone in his ankle. He's done. Jarrett Stidham coming in as the backup QB. Can he get it done? It's been since 2023 since Jarrett Stidham has thrown a pass. I don't see it happening. Sean Payton does have a history of getting backups in the right position and actually being successful with a couple of backup QBs. New England just looks really, really tough on both sides of the ball. This is a really, really, really good Denver Broncos defense, as you've seen in the past few games, against a really good New England defense. I think Drake May's playing at an MVP caliber level. Again, I have Matthew Stafford as 1A, Drake May as 1B. Those are your two MVP candidates for the NFL. It's still back and forth for me. I mean, Drake May, I think, is slightly below Matthew Stafford on the MVP talk. That's why I've got Stafford ahead of him. Who do I have winning this weekend? I really think the New England Patriots get it done. They return to Super Bowl appearance glory, as we can say, because they haven't been there since what, Tom Brady, obviously. Give me New England Patriots to beat the Denver Broncos. The loss of Bo Nix is really going to come back and haunt them. I really like what Denver's been able to do, but New England is just playing damn good right now heading into the AFC title matchup. Give me the Patriots over the Broncos. We've got a go Broncos. Yeah, I mean, let's be real. The defense could easily win this for Denver. I mean, the turnovers could just pile up for New England. Denver could win this on the defensive side of the ball. Wouldn't be the first time we've seen a defense power and actually win a Super Bowl for a franchise. Shout out to the Baltimore Ravens from back in the day. I mean, we could see this again. I'm not completely saying Denver doesn't have a chance. They've got a chance. Everybody's got a fighting chance. But I'm going to take New England for this game right now. Jeff is back in here, but doesn't defense win titles? Denver beats New England. I just said it a second ago. Yeah, I mean, we could see the defense come up big for Denver and could potentially win this game for them. But for me right now, the eye test tells me that I'm going to go the New England Patriots. Drake May leads the Patriots to the Super Bowl as the AFC representative. Let's switch gears here. And yeah, as I said, Bo Nix is out. Nix is out. Hopefully, maybe Sean Payton can get some of that of Jared Stidham, who again has though the past. It's like 2023, but you always are ready. As the Spurs fans do know, next man up, Pop's mentality. So we could see what happens there. NFC title matchup, Rams Seahawks. Everything, it's weird. Everything points to the Seahawks. They won the most recent matchup. They came back to beat the Rams in one of the biggest, comebacks of the season. This is a game where, again, before the preseason, during training camp, I took the Rams to win the Super Bowl. I'm not going to change my pick. I like the Rams to still win here. I like the Rams to still win the Super Bowl. But this is that game where everything points. The needle is shifting and has stayed shifted to Seattle. Seattle has been playing probably the best football of anybody to close out the season. Defensively, holy cow, Legion of Boom 2.0 right here. They are getting after the quarterback. They are getting after the offensive weapons that other teams have, causing turnovers. You see Rashid Shaheed. He is 95-yard touchdown run to start the game. The special teams for Seattle have been boom right now. Is that clearly enough to get it done over the Rams? Like I said, the needle is pointing towards Seattle at everything. But I just feel the Rams have a little bit more. The Rams understand they had that big lead against Seattle. They're going to learn from their mistakes. Would it surprise me if Seattle won? No, it would not surprise me if Seattle won. But I think the Rams get off to, I got to say, I think they got off to a mediocre start and then they kick it up. One thing they cannot do is they cannot play from behind against Seattle. When I say mediocre, I think maybe halftime you see 17-10 Rams. They cannot play from behind. That's something they cannot get off to a slow start. And if they get off to a fast start, it's got to be a fast start. And you got to take out this. You can't come into Seattle, get off to a fast start, and then let the brakes off, let the gas pedal off, like Spurs fans are accustomed to right now coming out of the locker room. Can't do that. Are the Rams the most complete team left in the playoffs? They were the most complete team going into the season. Injuries did happen, obviously, with Devontae Adams. They are the most complete team in the playoff right now. I do give edge defensively to teams like Seattle and Denver. But overall, yeah, I mean, when you look at the offensive weapons that Matthew Stafford has, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, the tight ends that they run, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, you got to give the edge and say that the Rams are the better offensive team. This is going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. There's no doubt about that at all. It's going to be a war. It's going to be war in Seattle. Taking the Rams to beat the Seahawks, meaning that we've got the Rams and the Patriots, in my opinion, as your Super Bowl matchup. It's going to be interesting. Patriots, Rams, like it. Two of the guys that, if they do make the Super Bowl, both quarterbacks are your MVP candidates, 1 and 2, or 1A, 1B. It's going to be a great matchup. It's going to be great matchups all over this weekend for the NFL. Again, Rudy Campos Jr., Box Score Studio. Be sure to go to Box Score Studio TV, hit that subscribe button. Coming to you live today. That way we can, talk a little sports before the weekend gets here. I won't be able to be on the weekend show for Box Score Studio, be out of town. So that's why we're doing this today. Saving you guys from sports talk here today. Again, Box Score Studio TV. What do we got, man? We got NBA talk coming up next. We've got Spurs Chisme. Spurs fans wondering, should we worry? I talked to that most recently with Jeff Garcia on Locked On Spurs. We'll get into that here. Of course, what they're 3-3 the last couple of games. They coming off of a win against Utah last night. Again, blowing the lead. Spurs fans kind of going crazy over that, kind of thinking, well, what are we to do? Are we to worry? Again, you just got to relax. A win is a win, no matter how it happens. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. Also, Spurs trade talk. Again, this is not anything that is being rumored or anything like that, but you don't want to see a team like OKC take advantage of a situation where it could propel them over everybody else in the league even more. What's that talk here? We'll get into that here in just a little bit. Quick mention here for chunkyflamingo.com. Hashtag rock the mingo. Use that promo code chunkycards20. Get 20% off of your order. Plus, you're going to get some free exclusive cards from Chunky Flamingo over from the guys over at Grading the Market. Again, partners of us here at Box Score Studio and Grading the Market. ChunkyFlamingo.com. Home of Chunky Flamingo. Hashtag rock the mingo. You guys ready for it? I think I am. Let's get into some Spurs talk, and then we're NBA talk, Spurs talk. And then we will call it a day for you guys. I'm thinking, should we do Spurs? Should we do NBA? We'll do NBA. Let's do NBA talk before we go to Spurs Chisme. So what trades do you see happening in the NBA? Jonathan Kuminga is a big name being rumored. You've also got Giannis Antetokounmpo being rumored. You got the Kings kind of breaking up that whole, DeMar DeRozan, possibly Zach LaVine, LaMelo Ball being rumored, as well as another guy that could be on the move, Ja Morant. You got a lot of names out there that could potentially hurt or help your franchise. A guy like Kuminga, for a little bit there, I envisioned, could the Spurs use a guy like Jonathan Kuminga? I think so. I mean, a guy that can average about 20 points a game, young player. Do I see it happening? I don't see that. Absolutely not. I think Kuminga goes to a team like the Kings or somewhere like that, where I think potentially he could, flourish a whole lot more there. There's just too many mouths to feed here in San Antonio. But guys like Kuminga, Giannis has been rumored to go to the Knicks. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But what NBA trades do you see happening out there? Or do you see this as being a quiet NBA trade deadline? Trade deadlines here getting here very, very quickly. Do you see a guy like LeBron? Are you buying or selling the report that LeBron has been poisoned for the Lakers? If so, why? I am absolutely buying that. When LeBron James was traded to the Lakers, it was cool. Yeah, hey, good job. LA was able, or when, not trade, but when he went to the Lakers, I'm sorry, when he ended up going to the Lakers, it was a great thing for them. But LeBron James, to me, actually, I'm on record as saying that I haven't been a fan of LeBron James since he left Cleveland the first time. Rookie LeBron James in Cleveland, and those years, I had more respect for him. I loved his game at that time. When he went to Miami, that's when we started to see the downfall of LeBron James. Now that he's in LA, chaos, havoc, problems, doesn't really give a damn about the team, doesn't really care about situations, as you can see from this season. This season, he's pretty much just checked out. He is checked out completely this season. You go and make a trade for Luka Doncic, which was bad for the Mavericks, bad for the Lakers. I mean, you get Luka, but if you guys go back to when we were talking on Sweep the League, and that trade happened, I said that was terrible. Good for the Lakers. They got Luka Doncic, but you're pairing a ball dominant player with Luka Doncic with a ball dominant player, LeBron James. That to me made zero sense. So you see everything coming out now. The Lakers are a better team with Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic than they are with LeBron James on the mix. I was saying before the season that I did not feel LeBron James would finish the season as a Laker. I felt like they may trade him, which, again, the percentage of that is probably 0.1% of it happening. He may request a trade at the very back end of the deadline because he wants to go to a winning organization. I have no idea. But at this point, I remember saying the Lakers are probably a play-in team at best this season with the roster that they had. They're right around, they're hovering that potential spot. I do not see the Lakers as being a threat. LeBron James saying that he's poison. He's just a bad fit in LA right now. If I'm the Lakers, I'm making calls to try to see if I can move him. It was a bad deal to sign him the extension. And I get it. Jeannie Buss came out and said what she did. It was a bad deal to sign him the extension. It was an even worse deal to not move him when you brought Luka in. I would have rather seen Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis. That pairing, to me, makes a lot more sense than a LeBron and Luka Doncic pairing. Do you think Lakers had no choice to draft Bronny? Because absolutely. Absolutely. The only reason why any team would have drafted Bronny was because of LeBron James. You mean to tell me that if the Washington Wizards got a commitment from LeBron James that he would sign with them if they drafted Bronny James, and LeBron said, yeah, draft Bronny and I'm there, Washington Wizards would have LeBron James and Bronny James. The only reason why Bronny James is in the NBA is because of LeBron. It's not because of his play. People want to market the fact that he's had a 20-point game or this and that when it comes to G League. Good for you. He's not an NBA player. Never was. Go back to our draft coverage when we said he's undraftable. He still was undraftable. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Should the Spurs take a flyer on Cat? Knicks are in shambles right now, and reports saying Cat could be had for pennies on the dollar. We'll get into that in a little bit. I don't think they move on from Cat. It'd be hard to move on from Cat. It's pairing Cat with somebody that could be a little more dominant in the paint than he can. We'll get into that here in a little bit. And Jacob Eric, of course, of Grading the Markets is what's up. How you doing, Jacob? What is up, brother? How y'all doing? Again, what NBA trades do you guys see happening? That's the question that we have at hand. Y'all ready for the Chisme? We got to get out of here in just a little bit. Y'all guys ready for the Chisme? Let's go.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs chisme. Dime, por favor.
All right, Spurs Chisme time. And the question is, should we worry? Now, I did recently talk to Jeff Garcia on Locked On Spurs. We did a show, and I don't know if that show has been released just yet, but it was supposed to come out today. And the question of is, should we worry? The Spurs are, 3-3, if I'm not mistaken, the last 6 games. They blew a big lead they had over Minnesota. They blew a big lead against Houston. Again, they almost blew a lead last night. The thing that we have to, and it's been released according to Jeff at Locked On Spurs. So yeah, there it is. So here's the thing. The question was basically, should Spurs fans worry? I'm at the point where I'm not going to change my wording on it. I said on to Jeff when Lockdown came out. I said, no, there's no reason to worry. They still have the third best record in the league. The way it's going, Mitch Johnson's going to be your all-star coach. Think about that. He's going to be out because I think they can't take Dag now because he was a coach last year. So it's going to be the number 2 team, which is the Spurs. But again, third best team and third best record in the league. Their losses that they've blown leads to have been to the teams. Minnesota came back. Houston came back, both playoff teams. I'm not counting the loss against OKC. That OKC loss is a loss. I mean, they came out, they ass whipped the Spurs. That's all it was. Spurs did come on a 3-game homestand. Beat Milwaukee, beat Minnesota, beat Utah. I mean, the question is should we worry? Should Spurs fans worry? It's no. It's no. You're sitting at what, 31 wins? You're what, 14 games above 500? Not even the most diehard Spurs fans on X, which there's tons of y'all out there. And if you say, well, I expected 30 wins right now for the Spurs, I question the fact if you really did. I don't think so. Nobody really had the Spurs wins, 50 plus, 52 plus. I mean, at this rate, you're probably talking 54, 53 wins for the Spurs. Nobody had that. Let's be unreal. But the reason why Spurs fans are worrying and concerned now is because, they're losing leads. You're coming out at halftime. Third quarter is kicking the Spurs in the ass. And you're worried because these losses seem more glaring than those other losses. And it's because it's to who? Why? It's to playoff teams that you're going to potentially see in the playoffs. But in these comeback losses, have they really been truly 100% healthy? We haven't seen Devin in a while. Early in the season, you were without Fox. I mean, you had issues with health. So why be concerned is the question. There's no reason to be concerned. They were 18th, middle of the pack when it comes to defensive rating. They are still, according to Jeff Garcia, if you listen to Locked On Spurs, they're still way above 500 leading after halftime. They're still way above 500 leading after the third quarter. 13-2 or some record like that. They're still way above 500 away games, home games, when it comes to leading after the third, leading after halftime. So where's the concern? Is it just because you're tired of seeing them blow a lead and here you go, you lost another game? They understand that and they realize that. But when you look at the big picture and you look at everything, they are still way above 500. When the Spurs lose, they really rile everybody up. Trade this guy. De'Aaron Fox, we signed you to a massive deal and you aren't doing squat. You expect De'Aaron Fox, I'm sorry, I think I said Darren Williams. If you expect De'Aaron Fox to walk in and have been that Sacramento King De'Aaron Fox, it's not happening. You don't need De'Aaron Fox to be Sacramento King De'Aaron Fox. You have better players around him. Leha, I'm late. I'm here though. No, you're not late, man. You're never late. You're doing fine, brother. Shout out to MCS General Contracted. You don't expect and you don't need De'Aaron Fox of Sacramento to walk through that door and save this franchise. You don't. De'Aaron Fox is doing what De'Aaron Fox needs to do. Stephon Castle, been a little bit of a rough patch, but that's fine. He's still young. He's still young, man. Year 2, Stephon Castle. Dylan Harper hit a rookie wall. It's okay. It's okay. He's a rookie. Keyword rookie. Victor is just getting off of that minutes restriction off of that little injury he had. It's okay. Devin is injured. Remember, I've been saying how key Devin Vassell has been for the Spurs. He's been a vital piece to this team. He's hit the shot when you most needed him to hit one. The team is struggling. Devin's been able to get on a little roll, makes a little defensive play. Coach Pop, Devin Vassell was, man, he had a lot of us questioning whether he should remain a Spur. Mitch Johnson, Devin Vassell, signed this guy to a lifetime deal because he's an impact guy now. So Spurs fans, chill, relax. We haven't even hit the All-Star break. Halfway point through the season, they're the third best team in the league. A healthy Spurs team is probably top two, maybe the best team in the league. They are loaded. Are fans worried because they lost leads versus teams they might face postseason? Playoff teams got their number, then this is troubling. Again, you know, it's like I just mentioned it. Yeah, it's against playoff teams. Playoff teams. Oh, these are teams we're going to see in the playoffs. Good. Good. Get your shit out of the way now. Playoffs are a whole different league. Whole different league. You know when it's time to worry? It's time to worry 65, 72 games into the season. That's when it's time to worry. If they're still blowing leads by then and it's becoming just a big old pattern, then you worry. But when they are healthy, 100% healthy, it's parades in San Antonio, honking on Commerce Street. It's everything because they're healthy. Keyword is they're healthy. Don't worry, guys. The sky's not falling. Fox is the only one with an excuse. Trade Sohan, trade Kelly, trade Devin. Devin Street closed with Sal. I'll give you the Sohan. I'll give you the Olynyk, obviously. But Devin, no, man. I mean, the guy, if you really think about it, he's hit so many big shots for the Spurs. Big shot for the Spurs this year. There's games, and we can argue the fact there's a majority of these games that they have W's in because of Devin. And it, like I said, you see him going on a hot streak, and it's like this guy's got 30 points, man. He's got 26 points. You look at the box score, Devin finished with 12, 15. You're like, geez, I swear he had more than that. It's those key shots, those key moments that he took shots that he was able to help propel his teammates. I get that. You're back in here, and this is the frustrating part. He's always out. He's Mr. Icy Hot, so inconsistent. He's been more available than Kawhi Leonard. I mean, but the thing is that when he's in there, he's a difference maker. Give him to the end of the year. We'll see that. Let's give him to the end of the year. We'll be fair to you, be fair to everybody. Give him to the end of the year. In the league, Jacob says, yeah, in the league. Okay. But should fans be worried about Barnes falling off the map? In a sense, maybe, yeah. But what can we say about Barnes, man? He started off the season so hot. Now he's cooled down a lot. It's a veteran, dude. It's not what he does on the court sometimes. It's the presence that he has in the locker room for the young guys. Can't worry too much. Julian should be in the three-point shooting contest. If you want him to, you want him to. Petition the NBA for that. I can't do nothing about that. Dude's been out a month now. Okay, he's been out a month. Again, let's wait. If he's traded, it's going to be for a viable piece, man. You got to get something in return for him. You got to get something big in return for Devin Vassell. Spurs Chisme Talk brought to you guys by Chunky Flamingo Apparel. Again, Chunky Cards 20. Use that on chunkyflamingo.com. Chunky Cards 20 is a promo code. You get 20% off, and you get some exclusive cards. Leja knows. A lot of people know that apparel is off the charts. Comfortable sweaters, tank tops, t-shirts, whatever you guys need. Checking Apparel has you taken care of. Before we end the show here, I want to talk to you guys about one thing, and it does involve the Spurs. Leha, you may like this. So the Giannis Antetokounmpo to New York Knicks trade talk has been for the offseason till now. The Knicks cannot make that deal because they don't have any draft picks. Two teams come to mind: San Antonio and Oklahoma City. Could potentially the Spurs get involved in a 3-team deal where they would give up their draft picks, I would say 2 first rounds, be a part of a Milwaukee, New York 3-team deal? Reason why I say this is they have a player that the Spurs could use right now. They have a player that Oklahoma City could use right now. Should the Spurs step in and stop a Oklahoma City involvement in a 3-team deal? What 3-team deal do you think it would be for the Spurs? Let's bring it up again. And of course, Jeff's going to screenshot and post this everywhere because he likes to rile people up. If you want to get riled up, Box Score Studio, at Box Score Studio on X, or you can catch me on Box Score Studio TV. If you want to get riled up over the trade idea that we had here at Box Score Studio, by all means, go for it. But I'm going to tell you this, and I'll tell you again, because Jeff knows on Locked On Spurs, if you're going to come at me on Locked On Spurs and leave those stupid comments that you people do, then be sure to give me reasons behind why you think something works, something doesn't work, or why you think I'm an idiot, or I don't know basketball, or I don't know sports in general. I mean, if you want to troll, I don't care. But give me a reason behind it. Because then you're just wasting your fat fingers, from typing all that stuff. Because then I'm not going to respond, because there's no reason to respond if you're just going to call people's names and stuff. So nonetheless, here's the trade. So obviously Giannis wants to go to the Knicks. And I'm going to see if I can bring this up a little bit more for you guys to see. We'll bring it up full screen. I will do that. Obviously, Giannis to the Knicks is what everybody's talking about. So Giannis will go to the Knicks. Olynyk and Sohan will also go to the Knicks. Why? Because the Bucks are going to receive Mitchell Robinson, Josh Hart, Harrison Barnes, and as of right now, 2 first-round picks that come via San Antonio. So, of course, the Knicks are probably going to need some size. Olynyk gives them the size. The Bucks get their draft picks. They also get Mitchell Robinson. Nice little centerpiece there. But they get the draft picks that they could want. Atlanta's draft pick that the Spurs do hold. The Spurs in return get OG Anunoby and Yabusele. The Anunoby deal solidifies that small forward spot. That scoring, do everything small forward spot that the Spurs have kind of been needing for a little while. That Harrison Barnes starting role just got younger, more athletic, in OG Anunoby. 4 years left on the deal. You still have time before you have to re-up Harper. It gets a little tight there when it comes to Victor and Castle. But remember, the Victor deal, it's going to take some work, because 2026, next season, he has to be able to be all NBA, which I think it's first team, if I'm not mistaken, all NBA, defensive player of the year, MVP. One of those things has to happen to get that super duper extreme max deal that he is entitled to. You're rolling the dice on it only because he hasn't been able to get defensive player of the year due to injury, been out for the season. Same goes for all NBA. Same goes for MVP. If he gets one of those, he gets that extremely big max super deal. So you have time with this, with Anunoby. You've already re-upped Fox. You've signed him to his max. You've signed Victor to his max. Then you got Stephon Castle that'll be coming up for a max in a couple of years. By that time, Anunoby should be coming off this contract. You were loading this Spurs roster to win not just now, but for the next few years. This is a piece where people say trade Devin, trade this and that. You wouldn't necessarily have to, because the Knicks get the player that they want and they covet. And let's not forget, Sohan was a part of the talk for the Knicks too. They wanted Jeremy in a way. They get the players they want that feel they can win now. Brunson, Antetokounmpo, Cat stays in New York. Still got Mikal Bridges. So the Knicks go to the top of the East. The Bucks, they get the draft picks they want. They still have Miles Turner there. They can build around Miles Turner. The Spurs, there you go. You catapult to the top of the West. Your starting five is looking damn good. Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, OG Anunoby are your wings. Victor, whoever else you want to start. That right there, you almost have to catapult them to the top of the West with a deal like this. Should Markkanen be on the SA Spurs radar? Yes, Lauri Markkanen should always be on their radar. But it comes down to, what does Danny Ainge want? Danny Ainge wants a Brinks truck of everything backed up in order for to get Lauri Markkanen. But this is the way that, and again, if you look at it, OKC can easily jump into this deal and get a player like OG Anunoby. They have the picks, they have the players that they can move. So why allow a team like OKC, who's the best team in the league right now, become even more favored to run back-to-back, to get back-to-back titles? You're in desperation when it comes to the Knicks. Desperate mode. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. What do you think, Spurs fans, on this Chisme? Do you think this is a good deal for the silver and black? What do you guys think? Box Score Studio on Twitter or X or whatever it is, or leave comments here on Box Score Studio TV. What do you guys think? The possibilities are there. Again, appreciate everybody for joining us here at Box Score Studio TV today. Loved everybody that left comments. Appreciate all the viewers and listeners out there. Again, hashtag Rock the Mingo. ChunkyFlamingo.com. Use the promo code ChunkyCards20. Get 20% off of your order, and you also get some exclusive cards. That is ChunkyFlamingo.com. Hashtag Rock the Mingo. You think Brian Wright has the stones to pull off a trade like this? Sure as hell hope so. Sure as hell would hope so he would. Send it in. Jacob loves that. Not only that, Jacob, check this out. Obviously, you want to catch Grading the Market. Box Score Studio TV has one of the best, if not the best, sports cards and collectibles show. Grading the Market. Jacob, Anthony, and Sith, they do a fantastic job getting you ready with everything on sports cards. You have Topps Chrome. You have more Topps cards coming out. They get you the market values of certain cards. I mean, Sith is talking to you about, hey, he's talking to you about the new stuff coming out when it comes to movies and all the culture stuff coming out as well. So they do a fantastic job over at Grading the Market. And again, shout out to Jeff Garcia. He gets his own little bobblehead here, his own little Funko Pop here. He's a special guest appearance here on from Locked On Spurs here at Box Score Studio, and also on Answer Now TV, where you can find me on Sundays, the Sports Answer over at Answer Now TV. We need to start making these, that way you guys can get a Funko Pop of Jeff Garcia over at Locked On Spurs. So appreciate everybody joining us here at Box Score Studio. Be sure to go to Box Score Studio TV and hit that subscribe button so you're not left out. We've got giveaways coming up very, very soon. You like some Spurs merch, you like some Cowboy everything merch, be sure to follow us on Box Score Studio TV. And of course, Jeff Garcia leaving that there. I think so. Be sure to catch me on today's episode of Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia. for Jeff, for all the guys that graded the market, for Leha and MCS General Contracting, for chunkyflamingo.com. Again, hashtag RockDomingo, promo code ChunkyCards20. You get the 20% off, and you also get exclusive cards. Shout out to everybody that joined us here. Be sure to join us next week as we'll bring you our Super Bowl coverage, as well as more Spurs talk, more NBA talk. Hopefully we'll have some trades that have gone down. That way we can talk about those. If not, we got a bunch more sports stuff coming up here. Derek Irvin should be back in the next couple of weeks. He's almost done coaching basketball, so should be back in the next couple of weeks. We'll talk to him, and we'll get some old NBA stories. Got a lot coming up here. Be sure to catch the Derek Irvin documentary on Box Score Studio TV for everybody there. We appreciate you joining us here. It's Rudy Campos Jr. Be safe out there, guys. See you next time.
This is Box Score Studio. Breaking it down, calling it real, and keeping you one step ahead of the game. Catch you on the next one.